This week on Fitness Friday, I have Dwayne Barris from Guiding Light Counselling Services of Amherstburg. Here with us in the studio. Welcome, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. And before we get into the services that you provide, perhaps tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into professional counselling.
I'm a counselor here in Amherstburg and therapist. So my background is, believe it or not, during the day, I'm not a counselor. I'm an auto mechanic during the day. However, I went back to school a number of years ago to be able to help people. That's what I love to do. But so that's what I did to be able to help people. So I just wanted to make a change in my life, wanted to help people.
What kind of qualifications do you actually need to be a professional counsellor?
To be a professional counselor in Canada, believe it or not, there's not many qualifications you need. However, when you belong to a college, the college dictates the ethical rules that you have to have and stuff like that. So I have a master's degree in social work and an honors degree in psychology from the University of Windsor. So that's where my education comes from. But I belong to the Ontario College of Social Workers and Social Service Workers. So they dictate the rules that we have to follow and rules that we don't have to follow. So, and then my insurance is through the Ontario Association of Social Workers. Those are the two different organizations that guide us as professional counselors.
Okay. What are the particular needs in the Amherstburg community? And so what specific services do you provide?
So the needs vary. It really depends on the person. So we work with adults. So my wife is also a therapist and counselor with me as well. She has the same qualifications, except that she has a Bachelor of Social Work instead of a psych degree. So, but she works in the office as well. So she works with anywhere from about 14-year-olds and up. I mainly work with adults. We work with couples and with relationship issues, individual with relationship issues. We work with people that have mental health concerns like anxiety, depression, trauma. We're trauma trained. We have various types of modalities that we've been trained in, EMDR, traumatic incident reduction therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy, solution-focused therapy. So a whole bunch of, modalities that help us to be able to help people, because there is not one box that fits all. So it really depends on the issue, depends on the person and where they're at. So we help them through whatever, as our line says, we help people through difficult times, and we really do. So really, whatever the client comes in with, that's what we help them with.
And do you have any advice for anyone that's perhaps listening right now who's feeling overwhelmed, they can't cope?
So overwhelmness, or you can call that anxiety if you want, there usually is a root cause. So if you can figure out what the root cause is and do something about that root cause, generally the overwhelmness will decrease. Generally the anxiety will decrease. So really is trying to figure out, especially if it's situation specific, like it just started or something like that, try to figure out what's caused it. Is it work stress? Is it, you've gotten an argument with your parents, or you got an argument with your partner, anything like that, trying to figure out what's causing it, and then doing something about it. For example, going to talk to that person if you had an issue with them, and maybe learning some techniques in terms of trying to calm yourself down. That would be my recommendation. And the thing is, the stigma about going to see somebody in the mental health field is starting to decrease now. Even men are more and more coming to see people when they have difficulties, which generally wasn't the case, in the past.
To anyone listening out there that requires help, how can they easily get in touch with you and set up an appointment?
So we're located at 61 Richmond Street. So our office number is 519-991-3754. That's probably the best way to contact us. Or our website is www.guidinglightcounselors.com.
Apart from the things that you've talked about in our discussion, is there anything that we haven't covered that you might just want to tell us about?
Yeah, I think there's various issues when people start to feel like it's a hopeless situation. It's not hopeless. Coming to talk to somebody and getting a third person point of view can really help. Before you decide to isolate yourself, for example, depression, one of the commonalities is the depression makes them isolate themselves from situations, from going outside, from even going to get a cup of coffee. We have to fight it by doing that. And that's the things that therapists and counselors can help you with. Give you techniques or tools to help you get through whatever you're going through.
Dwayne, before we came on air, you were mentioning that you do groups.
Yeah, we right now we're holding a starting every Wednesday. It started on the 8th, but for the next few weeks, we're going to be holding a men's grief group, and it's only specific to men. So because the way men grieve is different than the way women grieve, we decided to do that. But we're going to be holding many different groups in the future, communication groups, couples communication groups, anxiety groups, depression groups. We're going to be doing a lot of that in the future. So the best way to do is get in contact with our office, and we can let you know when that's going to happen.
Well, thank you, Dwayne, for talking to us today and highlighting the services that you provide for our Amherstburg community. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.